Hello, everyone. My name is Charles Aiden, and this is my complex issue of poverty and homelessness. Just a brief introduction. I basically chose this topic because in living in Columbus, Ohio, I've seen a lot of poverty in communities and cities. I've seen a lot of people on street corners with signs asking for money, and it just really hit home for me. And it really drove me to kind of dive into this topic and express the importance of it that I hope government officials understand and creating more solutions for it, and also for people who are living in poverty and homelessness. Um, in my personal experiences, I've experienced poverty firsthand with my family living without a home. So this topic really hit home for me. What is homelessness and poverty? Poverty is the state of being extremely poor. Homelessness is the state of living with no home. Um, so that could include living on the street, not having a home to live in, living in a home with your family, struggling with bills, living without, water, electric, um, living without a job could also be. Um, I got a little fun fact here. Whether or not people are living in poverty is determined by the U.S. Federal poverty level. I think as of right now, 42.5 million people are living below the poverty level. So that says a lot in how we need to make a change for people who are living in poverty and living without a home. So some background information here. I wanted to add these facts in about previous and past experiences with the U.S. Census Bureau and the poverty levels and how government officials look at this and seeing how we can make a change and how it influences our society today. Just some quick facts here. The poverty line in the U.S. has been established each year by the Bureau of Census since 1965. This threshold is set at three times the cost of a minimum food diet. In 1963, updated annual for inflation using the Consumer Price Index. There has been an increase in the poverty rates of richer MSAs, while the lowest rate in the 1970s and 5.97%, it rose to 8.31% in 2010. So that's a big change. In contrast, the highest poverty rate decreased from 49.04% in 1970. This study of poverty in the U.S. Census tracts requires the construction of a consistent data set that is affected by changes in their delimitation. The main source of information at the geographical level is the longitudinal tract database. Some causes of homelessness and poverty, disease, as you've seen, COVID is a big one in today's society. It's caused a lot of poverty with job loss, health issues. People aren't able to work. Ignorance. I put this one on here because um, I feel like it's one that nobody thinks of. Ignorance can be a big cause of poverty. People not balancing money and spending large amounts of money and not having any is a big part of homelessness and poverty if you don't balance your money well. Um, some other ones could be lack of education, um, racial stereotyping. Racism is a cause of poverty. Um, so, yeah, those are some causes. Um, some types of poverty: family poverty, child poverty, criminal poverty, educational poverty, and economic poverty. I have a brief video here. It is 4 minutes, but I'm only going to show a quick minute of it for the sake of timing. And it just shows some individuals and their stories on poverty and what they go through in these different types. So I'll play that for you here. Let's make the screen a little bigger. Skipping the ad here. All right, I'll go ahead and stop it right there. So as you can see in that video there, some of these types are shown with family poverty um, and child poverty. So they're just that's a brief video there. So homelessness is the state of having no home. Many residents living below the poverty line are potentially homeless most of the time, and an actual unknown number of them actually do become homeless. That's a fun fact from one of my library searches. So in this fact right here, I was able to pull this from an article in the library database, and it's about a housing group in Tacoma, Washington, and they bought a middle school for people who are homeless in that community, and they bought it out, and they basically provided homes for people who didn't have places to sleep. So in that 200 people had died of exposure in the previous week, activists said, including a 68-year-old man in a wheelchair, with the city's homeless shelters full and warming centers closed on many nights. And I think this was in 2021 at the beginning of the year. So that's a fact on homelessness. So some solutions for homelessness and poverty: improvement in better education, having good education, having a degree, and improving our education system is a good way to improve homelessness and security, and making sure that people have their degrees and getting jobs. Nonprofit organization contributions of government should be able to partner with nonprofit organizations to provide homes for people, just like the people in Tacoma, Washington, who are buying out middle schools and organizations to create homes for people. Economic security, making sure that money is a big thing, having jobs and securing jobs, equality within society. I think this is based on like racial stereotypes, as that can be a cause of poverty as well. And down here, I have a link with a nonprofit organization. This is their website in the background. So to conclude, an overall outlook of my topic and touching on the explanation of homelessness and poverty, explaining what it is and how it is a major impact as a complex issue, an explanation of when this issue started, when it increased, explaining how this issue was caused, and dealing with people to understand it more, outlining different types, explaining homelessness and its importance, and providing solutions to how we can better ourselves for government officials. Um, be a good way to help this issue. And these are my sources.